In my experience, and trust me, we tripped our toes really hard on this issue the first couple of weeks we were doing it. If we didn't set the clients up for success, meaning we were getting cruddy videos from the clients, we were not getting all the medical information up front, we were not prepared to kind of run the consultation. Our first consultations lasted way too long. And when a consultation, in my opinion, lasts more than about 30 minutes, it starts to get heavy and drag on. So if we do all the following steps, I'm going to show you guys how to prepare for this. If we do all of these steps, the consultations we found can run in about 30 minutes, 40 minutes. So I will screen share again. And this time we are going to visit Canine Home Exercises. In Canine Home Exercises, the very first thing you want to do, this is under preparing for your consultation, is set up your client profile. So at the top of your tab here, we have clients, exercises, templates, archive, and then I don't know if you guys know this fantastic help button. This has an entire user guide in here. So if you have questions about anything, just catch the user guide inside there. So we set up our client. You would set them up first name, last name, email, or if they're a client you've used before, you'll just click on the client. Notice how there's this telehealth button up here next to your client profile. We're not going to talk about that yet, but we'll come back and talk about this telehealth link that's now in Canine Home Exercises. So what I'm going to do is create a new program. Under templates, and now this is all in, we are still preparing for this consultation. There is now a telehealth functional evaluation inside the platform. If you click on this telehealth functional evaluation, what I created was functional activities in here that clients can videotape that will help us gather some kinds of information. So we have walking on leash, circling and circling to capture lamenesses, pelvic versus thoracic, right versus left. We have figure 8 on the floor to, let me just double check you guys. We've got a chat on the board. I just want to make sure everything is working out okay. Okay, I think we're in good shape. So back to the platform. So figure 8s then are to capture proprioceptive deficits, ataxia, imbalances, front limbs on the box to capture hip extension and pelvic limb strength, pelvic limbs on the box to capture thoracic limb extension and thoracic limb strength, sit to stand on the floor for active range of motion of the pelvic limbs, and to also capture your sit test for stifle disease. Push-ups on the floor to capture active range of motion of the thoracic limbs, a nice way to catch if elbow arthritis, shoulder problems, carpus issues are coming up. And then your neck ranges of motion to capture cervical spine issues, and crawling to capture all the joints plus a little bit of spine flexion and extension. All of these cards are in here to make your life easy, but you don't have to use all of these cards. If you say to me, hey Sash, I'm a veterinarian, I don't want to know all that stuff. I want to know if the dog is lame and I know it doesn't have neuro. Well, that's cool. Just come in here and delete what you do not want. And then you can capture and create the kind of information that you need. Let's look inside this card now. So if we look at program instructions, it says to the client in the instructions, this exercise is to evaluate lameness. And then it also gives them camera position instructions. The thing we found that was the hardest is, oh my gosh, it does not help us if we're watching the dog walk from the top. So this gives them camera position ideas, and in the process of camera position ideas, we also give them a more specific instruction. You guys, as part of the platform, can change this however you want. If you want different instructions in here, if you want different camera placements, you just modify this to your heart's content to gather the information you need for your telehealth consultation. In addition, there is a note in here. I created a note to save you guys some time, but you can also create your own note. So if you say, hey Sash, I am an orthopedic surgeon and I need this to be tilted towards that, you could write an orthopedic note and then save it, and your orthopedic note will go in here. So this is true for the platform in general, and this is one of the features I was not using correctly. So we have created a note for our functional evaluation for post-op orthopedics, subacute to chronic orthopedics, post-op ortho, post-op oncology. And what this allows us to do is to come in here, pick our note, and then once you have picked your note, you just insert it. And you guys can save as many notes as you want for your telehealth functional evaluations. So we're not quite done with this telehealth functional evaluation. I'd like for you guys to consider adding 2 other things to make your lives easier. We have added exercise cards that tell clients how to schedule and how to upload files. I'll show you how to do this in a minute. But basically the concept is that redundancy again. The more times we can give the client the information on how to schedule and how to upload, the less time suck it is for us while we're trying to actually do clinical practice. So inside these cards, you'll see the scheduler is here. The clients just need to copy the scheduler, and then the scheduler pops up and they can schedule from here. Additionally, the link for uploading is in here too. So clients, instead of having to go back to the website or back to their receipt, in the telehealth evaluation form, where you are asking them to please take videotapes of the patients in specific ways, you are also giving them the instruction for how to upload and how to schedule the patient. When we added these, all of a sudden the technicians magically didn't have to do as much work anymore, which was great because then we can get them taking care of patients instead of doing admin stuff. So the next thing I'm going to do is show you guys how to do that. But for a second, I'm going to stop screen sharing. Do you guys have any questions so far about how to set up and modify the telehealth evaluation, how to change notes, how to add the scheduler? I'll show you how to create it in a second. Okay, moving on then. So this that I'm going to show you next is the same way you can create your own exercises inside the platform. So we do our best to videotape once a year to get you guys the content you need, but in the real world, sometimes that is not fast enough. So we decided that we were going to create exercise cards that had how to schedule and how to upload files. You will come to Archive, choose your exercise platform, and then this green button over here on the right, add your exercises. You will put in a short title, a short description, then your link would go in here. what I recommend is add keywords. This is how you make the platform smart and save yourself a lot of time scrolling, is add your keywords, because what that means is when you go to the home page, instead of having to scroll, you can just type in test and the exercise will populate. Under the module, write a big note on your piece of paper or on your computer. You need to include this underneath the section called all, because it has to have a home inside the platform. If you guys want to, you can add a pretty picture, and then you save the exercise. When you come back to the archive button, and here's another thing that we're missing out on. You have to select your module or you won't find your exercise. So we built it in Canine Home Exercises, and here's the test that we just created. To add it to our home program then, we could come back to the home, click on all, and then find it under My Exercises and add it to the program. Additionally, and you'll find it down here at the bottom, there's our test. As an additional shortcut, you can come to add exercise, type in test, and here it is right here. You can then view your program. That's why it's important to add those keywords to it, so you can speed. So here is then our test. So we can add that to the platform instead of the ones that I created, which are not available to you guys because we built them just specifically for our clinics. We don't want to get those links messed up. So you guys will need to create your own exercise cards with your own links if you want to do how to upload files and how to schedule appointments from the home exercise platform. So once you have this stuff in here, then you will save to your client, you send it, and then the client gets in their email box a copy of this, which we'll look at in just a second. A lot of people are asking, hey, Sash, how do I integrate this into my current software system? And there are some software systems that integrate at the software level, but not a whole lot on the canine side yet. So our recommendation is to simply do this. Click print. I like to do 3 pages, 5 columns, but look at all of your printing options. I mean, lots and lots of printing options. So if you have clients who are older, who don't use the computer, who have vision issues, you can still get them printed copies of these things and you could email them. But what we do in clinic, because our software system is new at university, so it does not integrate, is we print this and then we save it as a PDF. When we save it as the PDF, then we can just attach it to the chart. I'll just go save as, attach it to the chart as a PDF, and then you have this, you can have your frequency, intensity, and duration, you can have all that other good stuff in there. But we will talk about how to build the actual home program when we talk about the telehealth consultation.